Hi there, it's Mico Mickey again. Do you ever find that your index finger gets marked or even feels a bit painful from the pressure when you crochet? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet a finger protector. It will not only protect your finger from getting sore, but also keep the yarn in place without slipping. There are two options for you, frog eyes or bunny ears. Pick your favorite one and let's get crocheting. We're going to start with the finger part first. Let's crochet a chain that is slightly longer than the circumference of your finger, adding an extra length of 2 chains for the finger protector placement. You can chain about 40 stitches to see if it fits. Place the chain around the desired location on your finger, and there should be a gap of about 2 chains remaining. It's important to note that if your chain is the same size as your finger, it will become too tight once you crochet the second round. So now adjust the number of chains and remember to note how many chains you've crocheted. And then we're going to join the ends of the chain together. Take a moment to straighten out your chain and make sure it is free of any twists. And next, locate the first chain we crocheted, insert a hook through the loop closest to the top. After inserting the hook, we're going to make a slip stitch. You can tighten your working yarn a bit first to make it look better. And then yarn over, pull up a loop, and put through the loop on your hook. Our first round is finished. And then we're going to chain 1 for the next round. Now we're gonna crochet single crochets starting from the loop next to the slip stitch. Insert a hook into this loop. And then make a single crochet. Pop a loop, yarn over, put through the 2 loops on your hook. You can place a stitch marker on your first stitch. And then we're going to continue to crochet a single crochet in each chain, just like we did before. Remember the number of chains you made earlier, and we're going to crochet the same number of single crochets. Here I finished crocheting the last single crochet. It's time to join the circle with a slip stitch in the marked stitch. And with that, our second round is complete. You can try putting it on your finger to check if the size is right. If it doesn't fit well, it's better to make adjustments now rather than realizing it doesn't fit properly after completing the project. Now we're going to chain 1 for the third round. In the third round, we're gonna make 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 9. After completing the 9th stitch, don't continue crocheting in the same direction. Instead, flip your work. Chain 1 and begin crocheting 9 single crochets in the next row. Insert a hook here and make a single crochet, and then continue to make 9 single crochets. After finishing the last stitch, just like before, flip your work, chain 1 and crochet another side of 9 stitches. We're gonna make 5 sides of 9 stitches, so we will finish this part of the finger protector. Here I'm almost finished crocheting the 5th side of 9 single crochets. And after completing the 9th stitch this time, don't flip your work. Instead, continue chaining to make it fit the circumference of your finger. After chaining 5 stitches, let's compare it to your finger to see if it fits properly. Similarly, we need the length to be 2 chains longer than the circumference of your finger. Since the current length just matches my finger, I'll crochet 2 more chains. Once you've reached the length, remember the number of chains you made. Now we need to join this round with a slip stitch. Hold your work in the way that allows the chains to be positioned in the upright corner like this. And then join this round with a slip stitch in the first stitch. At this point, make sure that the chains are not twisted. And then we're going to chain 1 for the next round. After that, we're going to make 9 single crochets first. Mark the first stitch just like before. After crocheting the 9th stitch, we need to crochet the same number of stitches on the chains we made earlier. Since I made 7 chains, I will need to crochet 7 more stitches. We're gonna crochet the single crochets in each loop of the chain that closest to the top. Crochet single crochets inside the chains can be a bit tricky. Hang in there and be patient, we're almost done. Here I finished the last single crochet, so let's join this round with a slip stitch in the first stitch. And after that, we can leave a tail of yarn and snip off. The finger part is now complete. You can try fitting it on your finger to check if the tension is suitable. If it fits well, we can proceed to weaving the end. Flip the side that needs to weaving the ends to the outside, and then find a loop near the tail and make a slip stitch to secure it. After that, find a few more loops nearby and weave the ends into them. And then snip off the extra yarn. And the same method for the other tail. Flip it to the right side and our finger part is down. Next, I'm gonna show you how to crochet the bunny ears first. We're gonna make a magic ring. insert 6 single crochets into the magic ring. After crocheting 6 single crochets, tighten the yarn tail. And then join the circle with a slip stitch on the first stitch. And then chain 1 for the next round. In this round, we're gonna make 2 single crochets into each stitch. So we'll have 12 stitches in total. 1 single crochet and another single crochet in the same stitch. And then repeat this pattern until you have 12 stitches. Up to the 12th stitch, we're gonna join this round with a slip stitch. And then we're gonna chain 1 for the third round. In this round, we're gonna make 1 single crochet into each stitch. So we'll have 12 stitches in total. And just like before, join the round with a slip stitch. And then chain 1 for the next round. Round 4 is the same as round 3. Make 12 single crochets. So join the round with a slip stitch as well. The pattern for round 5 is 2 single crochets with a decrease as one side. Repeat the side 3 times for a total of 9 stitches. Now let's chain 1 first, and then 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. After that, we need to crochet a decrease in the front loop only, which is the loop that's closest to you. We're gonna insert our hook into the front loop of the third stitch first. And then yarn over, proper loop. After that, insert your hook into the next front loop. And then yarn over, proper loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Now yarn over again and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. That finished 1 decrease. So we're gonna repeat this pattern 3 times. 1 single crochet and another single crochet into the next stitch, and then a decrease in the front loop only. And then repeat it 1 more time. After the last decrease, join the round with a slip stitch. For the next round, we're gonna make 1 single crochet in each stitch. So chain 1 first, and then make 9 single crochets. One, 2, 9, and then we're gonna join this round with a slip stitch. The young tail of the magic ring can actually be cut off directly. I forgot to do it earlier. For the next round, we're gonna make a nice single crochets again. So now chain 1 again, and then make 9 single crochets. After the last stitch, make a slip stitch again. And with that, one bunny ear is finished. Leave a tail of about 10 centimeters for sewing later. Now we can follow in the same pattern and crochet another ear. Later we will sew it onto the finger part to complete it. Before showing you how to sew, let's first learn how to crochet the frog's eyes. Take the white yarn and make a magic ring first. And then insert 6 single crochets into the magic ring. After crocheting 6 single crochets, tighten the yarn tail. And then join the circle with a slip stitch. Then chain 1 for the next round. For this round, we're gonna make 2 single crochets into each stitch, so we'll have 12 stitches in total. 1 single crochet and another single crochet into the same stitch. Repeat this pattern and we'll meet at the 11th stitch. After you finish the 11th stitch, the next one will be a little different. Insert a hook and pop a loop. And now don't finish this yet. We're gonna switch the colors now. So grab the green yarn and then pinch the green yarn with your left hand and use the hook to pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. After that, you can find the 2 yarn tails and gently tighten them a bit. And then you can snip off the white yarn, leaving a small tail for weaving in. Let's snip off the tail of the magic ring as well. Now we can continue with the crochet. First, we're gonna join the circle with a slip stitch. After inserting a hook, remember to put the 2 yarn tails between your hook and the working yarn. And now we're gonna make 1 single crochet into each stitch. Remember to hide the 2 yarn tails as you go. So chain 1 first. And then you can start crocheting single crochet into each stitch. Make sure the 2 tails is between your hook and the working yarn. Then yarn over, pop a loop, yarn over, put the 2. Two, 3, 4. While you are crocheting, feel free to give it 2 yarn tails a gentle tug from time to time. after hiding the tails for 2 or 5 stitches, you can stop weaving them in. Later on, they will be hidden inside the eyes, so it's alright to leave them like this. And then continue crochet the single crochets until you got the top stitches. After finishing the last stitch, we're gonna join this round with a slip stitch. And then chain 1 for the next round. Round 4's pattern is the same as round 3. Make 12 single crochets in total. And then join the round with a slip stitch. We'll meet you there. After the slip stitch, it will be like this. And if you plan to glue eyes like this, you can skip the part of sewing the eyes and continue with the crochet. However, if you do not have eyes like this and intend to sew with yarn, then continue watching. Pull the loop on the crochet hook out a bit and remove the hook, and then grab the black yarn for sewing the eyes. And then take out your work and sew the eyes according to your preference. I'm gonna sew them in an X shape. After that, adjust the tension. Leave a tail and snip off. Tie 2 knots with the black yarn tail to secure it, and snip off any excess yarn. Now insert the crochet hook back into the loop and pull the loop tight. And then chain 1 for the next round. For this round, we're gonna make 6 decreases in front loop only. So just like we did in the bunny ears, insert a hook in the front loop of the first stitch and yarn over, pull up the loop, and then insert your hook into the next front loop, and then yarn over, pull up a loop again. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the 3 loops on your hook. That's 1 decrease. Repeat this 6 times, so we'll have 6 stitches in total. After you finish 6 stitches, join the circle with a slip stitch. And then you can leave a tail of about 10 centimeters for sewing later. Thread the remaining yarn tail through a yarn needle. Hold your work like this, and we need to thread the yarn needle through the front loop of the stitch next to the slip stitch we made earlier. Then continue threading through the next front loop. Repeat this 6 times. Now I've threaded through all the loops. We need to pull the yarn tail tight to close the hole. And then thread the yarn tail through the side like this to hide it. And then leave a tail of about 10 centimeters for sewing later. Ta-da! One eye is completely finished. Follow the same steps to make another one, and then you can sew them onto the finger part just like this. Next, I'll use the bunny ears as an example to show you how to sew them onto the finger part. The same method can be applied to attach the frog eyes as well. Thread the yarn tail left from the bunny ears onto the yarn needle. And next, fold the finger part in half so that the middle part is at the top. Then position the ears in the suitable place like this. Next, thread the yarn needle downwards like this. And then from the same hole above the spot where you threaded through earlier, insert the needle back through. And then thread the needle through the bunny ear from this hole. Next, thread the needle through the finger part. Continue this method, sewing the entire bunny ear onto the finger part from right to left. Of course, this is just my preferred method of sewing. If you have any better way or your own preferred method, feel free to sew it according to your own style. After sewing the final stitch, leave the yarn tail inside the finger part. We will weave in the tail later. The other ear is also sewn in the same way, starting from the left and sew it onto the finger part, moving towards the right. Now I've sewn both ears onto the finger part. Let's go ahead and weave in the yarn tails. First, tie 2 knots with the yarn tails to secure them. And then find the inner loop nearby and make a slip stitch. After that, hide the yarn tails by threading them through a few loops. And finally, snip off the extra yarn. Same method for the other tails. Ta-da! Our finger protector is all done. Now go ahead and try it on and see how cute it looks. Yeah, you made it! Remember this cute pouch we did a few weeks back? You all loved it? Well, get ready because next week I've got another fantastic tutorial coming your way. This time we'll be making this lovely pouch that is even easier to crochet. And you can customize the size to fit your needs. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week.